Hi, everybody. This is Julissa. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I am here to speak about the missing mom case from Cohasset, Massachusetts. It's been news since the beginning of the year, or maybe I should say 2 days after, because Anna Walsh has been missing, reportedly missing since January the 4th. And it's been going on for over a week now. Today is January the 12th, the day that I'm making this podcast. But I wanted to bring attention to this past Sunday. I was like searching about information about her. I learned she was missing, right? But I wasn't getting any I wasn't hearing a lot anywhere about her. So I decided to do a quick research and then just make a video about it on my YouTube channel. So we know this mom, reportedly, this is what the husband said. And he said, Brian Walsh said that she was supposed to be flying out on the early hours of New Year's Day, January the 1st. And she had booked the share ride to go to the airport, and it was a last minute decision because what they're telling police was that she um, was supposed to fly on the 3rd, but something happened that she told Brian, the husband, I have to go last minute. There's an emergency. And let me just give you some background, in case you don't know all the details about her disappearance. Anna Walsh is a realtor from Washington, D.C., who worked in Washington, D.C., but she lived in Massachusetts. Cohasset, Massachusetts, to be more specific. And she had 3 young kids, and they're 2, 4, and 6. They have a huge house in Massachusetts where she shared with her husband and their 3 young kids, right? During the week, she will travel to Washington, D.C., and this is on a weekly basis to work over there, right? She's originally from Serbia, but she lived in Washington, D.C., and then she got married and moved to Massachusetts with Brian. Um, so that's the background. This is why she's traveling back and forth, right? So you have to understand this is a mom, uh, the mother of 3 very young kids. We're not talking about 12, 13-year-old kids that can come home from school, make their own food. They don't need that much help from for their mom and whatever, right? But these are 3 young kids, and that was her routine, right? So that day on New Year's Day, Brian says to the police, oh yeah, she had a work emergency. Instead of flying on the 3rd, leaving 3 days after, which would make a lot more sense. She decided to go that day, and she was supposed to get into a ride share, and then she had to leave that day, right? So the crazy thing about that is that the only way that police learned about her disappearance for the first time was one of the co-workers from Washington, D.C. are saying, "Where is Anna? We haven't seen her. She's not here." And then after they reported her missing to the police, then Brian, the husband, decided to do the same, which is already so strange. You have to understand why I think that's strange, right? I think anybody listening to this book can make sense. You have your wife who just celebrated New Year's Eve with you and your family. You are the father of 3 kids, young kids, right? Your wife is leaving early morning for an emergency, work emergency, and there is no um you telling her, hey, when you get to the airport, let me know. I want to make sure that you're safe. When you get to DC, let me know as soon as possible. I don't know if she stayed at a hotel or whatever, right? There's no like that concern from him. Like, I want to make sure you get there safe. Let me know how everything worked out with the work emergency, anything. I believe that a marriage will have that type of communication. Yeah, I'm not married, but hopefully, when I get married, that will be, if I don't have that type of, concern for my husband, that would be a big red flag. I think anybody can relate. Like, you're leaving early morning, last minute decision because of work emergency, and your husband is saying, it's not calling like everybody like 2 hours after and be like, she left and I don't even know if she's at the airport, what's happening. He's just decided to go on with life. That's a little weird. And it's a lot of unnormal behavior coming from Brian. And this is why I believe that he's 100% responsible for something, for whatever happened to her. She's still missing. They have no details about her. And then everything starts coming up to light, right? Because everything you do in the dark, like I always say, comes to light. So so far, this is what we learn, right? Um, Apparently, you know, on December 28 and 29, between those days, um, Brian and Anna were selling assets, right? They're selling cars, they're selling their condo that they rented for, they had great tenants for 4 years, and the tenants are saying out of nowhere, Anna's demeanor changed. They're selling stuff. They're telling them that they're selling the condo, which sold, by the way, their condo in another city nearby sold in 8 days. So a very hard property market, but you have to understand too, you're not just dealing with regular sellers. Like Anna, that's what she does for a living. She's a realtor. So it's sold in 8 days, with the above asking price. I think they were asking for 199, and it sold for 220,000, right? So they have all that transaction from the sale, right? And then she's selling all cars, right? She got they got that. So I believe that, she's telling her family. That's the other thing. She's telling her family and friends that something great is gonna happen in the new year. So everybody, I do believe that everybody's always looking something for the new year. I love New Year's, New Star, all of that stuff. But this family, specifically Anna, was getting ready for something new that happened. She told her family in Serbia that it's a big surprise that was going to happen in 2023. So when you see that, when you see people selling stuff away, when you see people getting rid of, commitment, like selling the condo that they rented for 4 years, things like that. Somebody's moving somewhere. Okay, somebody's going somewhere. But you have to understand, this is what the tricky part about this whole case is. Brian Walsh is under house arrest for a fake painting that he sold on eBay for $80,000. So how insane is this case that you have a family where the mom travels on a weekly basis to a different city and leaves their three young kids with the dad who's under house arrest. And I find it also very strange, guys. Not trying to pass judgment on anybody, right? But you have to understand, it's not a lot of men who are gonna be okay and be like, okay, go do your thing in DC. I'll stay here with the kids, right? I'm under house arrest, whatever. Like maybe the first 2 weeks it shouldn't be an issue, but eventually it will be an issue because kids that young need their parents like all the time. My mom has been babysitting for a long time, all up until she got sick. I know, anything can happen with kids that age. They one day they're fine, the next day they're having cold symptoms, whatever, right? So you gotta go to the doctor, you gotta go back and forth. They have stuff after school. You have to be a parent, right? So things happen, and she's away in a different city. And not only that, I think for this family had a very strange arrangement, right? Because everybody knows, she had a lot of friends, but she worked in DC. So mostly of all of her friends were over there, right? And she lives in Massachusetts with her family. And the other thing too, you have a dad who is under house arrest. Okay, so if this man commits any mistake and something happen, who's gonna take care of the kids? Anna is far away; she's working. So if he makes one mistake, or something happen in his case last minute, that they're gonna say, we need to see you here in the courthouse or whatever immediately. Like, what's gonna happen with the kids, right? Is she gonna like jump to the next fly and be, who's gonna take care of the kids in between them? I'm sure they probably had a babysitter or whatever, but that type of arrangement, as it was, it looks a little weird, right? It's very risky. That's what I'm trying to say. It looks very risky to do stuff like that, right? With three young kids that, like I said, one day they, let's just say they're going out to play on the snow today, tomorrow they wake up with a fever. Things like that happen. You gotta make a doctor's appointment, take them to the doctor, back to school, back to the other one has this, the other one. They're three young kids. It's not just one child, right? And then the dad is under house arrest. So he's limited of the stuff that he can do, obviously. He's under investigation, obviously. Okay. So they were selling stuff to something. So was the plan perhaps to buy a property back in DC and move back? And maybe she said, I'm moving with the kids, and then you come back, you come and live with us after your case is over, and you're able to travel outside the state or something. Was that the plan that he didn't agree with? And the reason that I say that is that it is very fishy, everything that has come out of Brian, right? They're digging everything out of him, right? His character. They're saying that after his dad passed, he went a little crazy with the will and things like that. They're talking about how he's a sociopath, and they're looking at everything. I mean, I just saw somebody put on Twitter something about what he wrote in his yearbook in high school, and he said he had a love of money. And then a photo on his yearbook, he put like a joke, wanted. And it's like, wow, you have to really be careful what you say, what the things that you say that come out of your mouth about yourself, right? Because look at where we are right now, right? This man right now is in Yale, and everything is just strange to me, right? She's calling the family. That's the other point, right? So she's calling her family in Serbia the day New Year's Eve, right? And she said, "Mom," the mom said she's pleading with her to get here on the first. She's pleading with her mom. Like, are you kidding me? What is going on? That tells you a couple things, right? Anna didn't really have that much support in Massachusetts, right? Anna was getting ready for something and needed some type of support. And maybe, she wrote a letter when Brian got in trouble in 2018 about selling paintings, fake paintings. Anna wrote a letter to the judge, like, this is my husband. He did so great with my mom. He helped her during something that happened with her. Like her mom got sick at one point, and Brian was very helpful, whatever, right? So maybe she was like, Mom, if my mom can come, maybe he can be a lot better, right? Maybe he will have a more respect for her, right? Because people behave differently. We all know that there are people who change. They can be arguing with you in the car. The minute somebody comes along, hi, how are you? Everything is sweetheart. Everything is happy. Because people live a fake life, right? People are so afraid that other people will discover who they truly are behind closed doors, right? And a lot of the people that are so afraid to be seen behind closed doors are the people that have a different personality behind closed doors. So when somebody's in an abusive relationship, they always try to make everything happy dally, right? And by that I mean not trying to offend anybody, because we know he has a temper, let's just say, right? If you know somebody has a temper, the last thing you want to do is offend them. If you want to celebrate New Year's Eve and be happy and you cannot wait for 2023 because you're planning perhaps to live with the kids and everybody, you want to make sure you have somebody there who's going to be kind of like the shield, that he never behaves like that when my mom's around. Might as well just get my mom here so that he can behave and take the news as it is and not be a huge problem. It could be anything, right? All I'm saying that it's strange that for Christmas and New Year's people plan. This is not a trip that you just be like, oh, can you come here for Christmas? If somebody's inviting you last minute for a Christmas celebration or for a New Year celebration, either somebody cancels on them or something crazy is going on, right? Because a last minute invitation for a Christmas or a New Year's event, a lot of the times people is because somebody's afraid that they could be lonely or something strange going on in their life, in their personal life, or somebody cancel on them and they just want to feel, the spot. And I think in this case, obviously, she's reaching out to her mom. She was concerned about something. Her mom said she was pleading with her to come the next day on New Year's Day from Serbia. Okay, so that's a big red flag, right? So I do believe that it's some type of disagreement happened. Okay, she wanted probably to run away. She had I mean, looking at her Instagram, and anybody can go ahead and look at Anna Walsh Instagram at right now. You can see her in DC, and you see her happy. All her friends workshop this and seminars and group meetings, and she's a leader over there in in the company. So when you go from that, this is always a problem because when you come home, the last thing you want is trouble, right? Home should be the safe place for everybody, right? The last thing you want to come home after having fun and not having fun, but having like a good work ethic and being a great leader and being praised for the work you do is to come home to your husband being on house arrest, probably complaining that he has to stay with the kids all week, and then everything will like crumble to the floor because when you leave something like that, when you live a life like that, somebody's not going to be happy because the shared responsibility concern is going to come up at some point. It's just meant to happen. There is no husband that's going to be like, oh, do your thing every day, 5 days a week, every week, and I'll stay here with the 3 young kids and take care of everything. Like it doesn't make sense. That is not normal behavior. Another non-normal behavior that you see from this case is Mr. Brian Walsh misleading police. So this happened Sunday. He's misleading police. The police had enough. He said he didn't hear about her this, and he only went out to get ice cream for the kids, and then they found out he actually went to Home Depot to buy $450 worth of cleaning supplies. That's another red flag, right? Like, who buys $450 worth of cleaning supplies? Like, are you like a painter? Are you remodeling a home or something? Like, with $50 right now, you can buy enough supply to clean the entire house at the Dollar Tree, okay? Because you can say, oh, maybe they have 3 kids, they need a lot of cleaning to do. Yeah, $50, not $450, and not at just like a regular store. He went to Home Depot, you know. It's like going to buy 450. Well, I shouldn't say groceries now. That's not a really bad compare. That's a really bad analysis about. I was gonna say going to buy $450 worth of food. Like, no, because right now we all know the prices are crazy. But you guys understand my point, right? It is not normal behavior for your wife to disappear, and the day after you're gonna go buy $450 worth of cleaning supply, right? And then this man is so um he's so like he look, I always say there's people who think that because they're so eloquent and they know how to say the right things and they know how to communicate with people well, they know how to speak in public, they think they can fool everybody, right? And the only ones that they're fooling is themselves, because this man is so not smart. His body language is so, it is giving him away 100%. There's a video that came in. If you go on my YouTube channel, you get to see it. Or no, I'm sorry, I put it on my Facebook page, right? Because it's not my video, so I cannot repost it on YouTube. But you can see him at a juice bar 2 days after the wife disappeared. He's buying juice at this establishment over there in Cohasset, and this man is just looking around like I'm laughing because it's so ridiculous. His body language is giving him away, right? He's looking around, pacing through like. Does anybody know? Like, it's almost like somebody's gonna say to him, "I know what you did last summer," type of thing. He's just looking around like trying to act normal but looking so abnormal at the same time. It's so crazy. So let me, before I run out of time, the other thing too about this whole case is that you know then he's misleading police and he gets arrested for misleading police, not really for any other charges, right? And this man, this is the biggest slap in the face that I felt about this whole case. Forget everything, whatever people can say, that he's crazy, whatever. When you see this man come out of the police station in handcuff and he is smiling, that is the biggest slap of in the face to everybody. And if you feel that's a slap in the face from him, imagine the people that know him, that know the kids, that know Anna, her family. Okay, who does that? Your wife is missing, dude. Okay, you have three young kids at home who are now in custody of the Department of Children. Okay, your mom who's sick that you will, he apparently will, be watching out for her, whatever, right? And you gonna come out smiling. There's no like outrage from him if he's falsely accused. There's no outrage from him saying, hey, it's not me, like screaming, yelling, because what a big opportunity you have. You have the press looking at you. You have the press looking at you, waiting for some type of response from you. Your wife is missing, dude. Your three kids are being taken away. And you're gonna come out smiling? That was the biggest slap in the face. I couldn't believe my eyes. I had never been so shocked about a case before. Um, and that, like I said, he's the most non-smart person acting like he's smart because he's a con artist selling art, you know, and selling art and living under house arrest, right? Embezzling money from his dad's will, right? Having a wife that works, and now she probably wanted out. I mean, who, like, are you kidding me? And then the last piece, guys, because I just learned about this, right? I just learned about this like 5 minutes before I started recording this. So apparently in 2014, because this is the thing about life, right? People always show you who they are. I'm not trying to blame anybody here. Okay, and I understand that love is blind. Okay, that society put pressure on people to get married and have kids. That's the reality. Okay, a reality that I felt in my life too, especially in the Hispanic community. Okay, especially in the Christian community in the church. Okay, there's never any type of you know, something, for people who are single. It's always so hard to find some type of connection, right? Um, but anyways, before I get off topic here, all I'm saying is that people will always show you who they are. Like I said, this whole idea that you have to get, somebody that has a bad temper, you always have to keep them happy. That's a toxic person that cannot control their emotions, and they need to do something about it, or you need to get out. Because at the end of the day, guys, like God can change somebody only if they want to. But if people are like, this is who I am, I have a bad temper, this is who I am, deal with it. Well, I'm leaving. Like, you don't want nothing to do with that, right? So what I found out was that in 2014, there was a police report in Washington D.C. from Anna Kinnep. That was her name before she got married, right? Her family name Kinnep, I think is Knipp or NIP. KNIP, I believe. She filed a police report against Brian because he made, this is 2014, guys, before they even got married. She called the police and made a report about him saying he threatened her on the phone, saying that he was gonna kill her and her friends. And this happened in 2014, and 4 years after they got engaged and got married. And now this is the present right now. He's in jail right now because he misled police about the disappearance of his wife, and their three children are being taken away and living now with Department of Children and Families. And Anna is missing, and nobody knows where she's at. Let me know what you guys think about this case again. Um, we're praying for a safe return for her. I really hope so, even though the evidence is going like every other case we know, every other Shannon Watts, Lacey Peterson. Um, it seems to be going. the ball seems to be rolling the same way. So let's just keep the family in prayer. And God bless everybody.